What's up, everybody? How is it going? Austin prechtelevate Performance, coming at you live. Happy Thursday. It is check-in day if you are a client of mine. Hope you're having a good one so far. For those of you that are tuning in, let me know how your day is going. Guys, we're going to get this one kicked off here shortly. Yeah. Today we're going to be talking about setting boundaries and why it's important. And before I get into that, part of this live, I'm going to be giving you guys a little bit of a story time. A little bit of a story time. Um, and I don't know. I debated talking about this, but I think it's an important example. I think it's a good example, and I think it's an example that sometimes you have to make tough decisions in your life. Sometimes you have to make tough decisions. Sometimes you have to set and draw a line in the freaking sand of what you're willing to tolerate in your life from people, from whether it's friends, family, loved ones, who you do business with, who you work with, everything. Because the boundaries that you set for yourself, that determines how you let people treat you, right? That determines how you let people treat you, right? Like, so if you don't set boundaries, if you don't say no to things, if you don't, draw these lines in the sand and shit keeps happening that you don't like and you're not saying anything about it or you're not actively trying to do something about it to correct it, you can't really complain, right? You can't really complain about, how people are, treating you to an extent. And so today I'm going to tell you guys about a time that I had to set boundaries and why. I'm really, really freaking glad that I did, and I hope that you guys will do the same going forward when situations arise. Because a lot of times, you guys right now, with your fitness journey, with your nutrition, with weight loss, whatever it may be, you probably struggle with setting boundaries, right? You struggle with setting boundaries with your friends, trying to go out and hang out and go to parties or things like that, or going out to eat when you might not, have the calories for it or something like that. Struggling to say no whenever you know that you should be going to the gym, but instead get pulled away to do something else. Setting hard boundaries with your boss at work, maybe, who is having you do a bunch of shit that's not in your job description, right? Having you do a bunch of shit that's not in your job description, that you didn't sign up for, that wasn't a part of your agreement, but you keep pushing that baseline back, so you keep getting put in these scenarios where you're like not doing what you want to be doing, right? Or doing things that aren't conducive to your goals, right? Or you didn't set that hard boundary with your spouse, and you're like, I'm gonna work out after I get done with work, or I'm gonna eat healthy tonight, and then they bring a pizza home and they're like, you want some? Like shit like that, right? Not setting those boundaries that are going to support your goals, support your aspirations for yourself. So setting boundaries. So I'm gonna talk to you guys about pretty much. Pretty much how, if you have a really like low bar for boundaries in your life and how you allow people to treat you, you're gonna have a hard time with your fitness journey, right? You're screwing your fitness journey up, and you're giving yourself kind of a crappier life than you should be having. So let me tell you guys about a story. And you guys don't hear me talk about, my losses or negatives too often, just because I think that there are better things to focus on in life, right? I think that there are better things to focus on, and I don't like to pay attention to those things because they're not going to help me grow as a person, right? But this one comes with a powerful lesson going forward. So I'm going to share it with you guys. And I'm not going to name any names or anything like that, just because this is not what it's about, but it's to be an example to you guys as to why it's important. So, um, background, I've been doing online fitness and nutrition coaching for a little over 2 years, or about 2 years now, right? And as a small business owner, I have worked with over 150 people. 150 people. I worked with over 150 people, not counting my free challenges that I run. And out of those 150, I would say, you know, there's always like bad apples in every bunch, right? For whatever reason. And I would say out of that 150, there's been less than a handful of people that I would consider bad apples, right? And so I've been lucky to say the least. But because of that first one bad apple, right? Because of that one first bad apple, let's call them bad apple A, right? I set the boundary for myself and created a ban list in my business where individuals, these individuals will never, like literally never fucking ever receive service from me again, right? They are banned on all of my social media accounts. They are banned, like their numbers are banned, everything. They basically don't exist to me, right? They basically don't exist to me because I don't fuck around with people who intentionally try to fuck me over. Right? That makes sense, right? I don't engage with people who bring bad energy, bad times into my life, right? Or try to like you know set me up to not set me up, but try to dissuade me or take me off my path, right? Try to take me off my path towards my goals. Okay. What's up, Kristen? How's it going? How's it going, girl? I'm excited for you, girl. I'm excited. Yeah. But guys, yeah. So kind of going back to that though, I don't mess with people who try to take me off my path to reach my goals. And these people were in a sense doing that, and so they got uh, banned. Like I'm honestly like I'm pretty much I try to give everybody as much of a benefit of a doubt as I can until like it's literally the last freaking like potential I've run all the scenarios. I've been like, okay, maybe it was this, maybe it was that, maybe that's why this happened, maybe whatever. And it reaches a point where you're like, okay, no, like that's not happening. That's not the case. Like this is gonna not gonna be a fun time. And so when that happens though, like when people do that to me or people do that to you, sometimes you got to be cutthroat, guys. Sometimes you got to be cutthroat. Sometimes you have to draw a line in the fucking sand and not let that line move and not push that line back. Because the more you push that line back, the less seriously you're going to be taken when it comes to your nutrition, when it comes to your fitness, when it comes to your business, when it comes to whatever it may be. So I drew a hard line in the fucking sand. I drew a hard line in the sand. I will not tolerate shitty people in my life. And so, why did I do that? Right? Why did I do that? In this situation, Apple A, after joining my program, and after I had spent hours upon hours building their plan, updating it, doing check ins, things like that, how I do, told me that they couldn't afford it anymore. And it's like, okay, because some things had happened, me being naive at the time, and wanting to help as much as possible. Like I said, guys, like I'm tried my best to make sure that people are getting what they, giving the benefit of the doubt, doing the best that I can. What's up, Sarah? How's it going? And because of that, I at that time trying to help her reach her goals, offered her a free month. I was like, you get I will, I know that you want this so bad. I see that you're struggling. You've told me that you're struggling financially right now. You want this really badly. I want to try my best to help you out, right? I want to try my best to help you out. So I did that, right? I did that free month. And in doing so, um, what ended up happening is that she would definitely be able to continue. If I did this for her, she would be able to continue. She would, be able to, she looked at all the numbers, crunched them, and was like, I can go forward, and this will help me out so much. It's not like like things like that, right? I was like, sweet, perfect, like that's great, like mission accomplished. Like I want to see you succeed. I care about your success. Let's make this happen. It sucks for me, but it's fine. Like I want to make something happen for you. I want to make this work, right? 2 to 3 weeks into the free month that I gave this individual, I saw them on because social media, it's everywhere, right? Saw them, pop up on my feed, and saw it pop up on my feed, and when this happened, um, you know, after I had been spending like pretty much this whole month, like helping develop the plan, continue to develop the plan, build it up, work with them, doing the check-in, spending, time out of my day that I could have been spending with my family, my friends, doing other things for my business, things like that. um, this individual had gotten new tattoos, had gotten their hair done, had gotten it dyed, had been eating out and eating at these restaurants and things like that. And I saw this on social media, and when that happened, like, you know, told me it was like this, and this was, a couple of weeks after this individual was like, oh, I didn't I don't have the I don't have the money, like, to be able to, you know um to pay you. And seeing all of these things happen, and seeing all of these, like, extra things, that was being, that could have been, that was being afforded, when I was told that, it couldn't be done, and that they took the free month, and all this stuff, um, and they couldn't afford to pay me for my hard work, right? Um, and just to be straight up, like, she lied, right? This person lied, and boldface lied, and what it came down to, right, is that they didn't view their journey or my time as a priority, and they let me give some of my most precious resource, my time, right, my life, whatever, however you want to view it, um, to them, right? And, like, this told me, right, that they didn't respect me, that they didn't respect their own journey, right? And that in general, they had weak values and did not have integrity. And so, what did I do, right? I set a big fucking boundary. I set a big fucking boundary, for myself and for other people, going forward. I learned from my mistake. And, one of those things, it's just one of those things that happens sometimes. And so, guys, like, why am I telling you about this? It's because you need to set boundaries in your life. You need to respect yourself. You need to respect yourself enough to not let others walk all over you, or your dreams, or your journey, right? You need to set the bar high. You need to set the bar high, because how you respond and how you allow others to treat you is how you are going to continue to get treated, unless you raise that bar, unless you set that boundary. I had to learn the hard way, and I had to set that boundary for myself. And since then, I haven't had those issues anymore, to where it got to that point. I don't allow those things to happen or get to that point anymore, because I set that boundary for myself. And when you guys set boundaries, and honestly, guys, like honestly, like, it wasn't about the money, right? It was about the principle of it. I hate being lied to, and from that moment forward, like, I created that boundary, that I would not be disrespected in that way again, right? I would not let that, like, happen again. Like, I didn't want to. I would never be in that position again, because of, setting this boundary, this firm boundary. And so, when you guys set these boundaries with your friends, with your family, loved ones, etc., coworkers, whatever, whoever it may be, some won't like it. Some people will not like it. But if they can't handle your rules for how you want to be treated, then they will honestly filter themselves out, and they weren't meant to be in the life that you want for yourself, anyways. Right? Let me say that again. They will filter themselves out, because they weren't meant to be in the life that you want for yourself, anyways. Does that make sense? Like, if you're watching this right now, can I get some, like, fire emojis, or, like, a hell yeah, or, like, make sense in the chat? Because, like, that's a big takeaway for you guys. Like, so many people are holding on to these relationships that don't serve them anymore. So many people are holding on to friendships, to, I'm not saying you have to completely block certain people out of your life, but you can stop talking to them as much, or stop hanging out with them as much, if they're not willing to respect those boundaries, because they just aren't ready to be that. They're not. So many people collect people. Like, people like to collect people. Or like friendships, like Pokemon cards or whatever. It's like, I don't want to lose them. I don't want to go. I don't want. It's fine sometimes, right? It's not a bad thing to, you know level up in life, if they're not willing to level up with you, or not willing to respect you wanting to level yourself up. And a lot of times, as shitty as it sounds, a lot of people, especially if you're in a relationship, a lot of times, your significant other doesn't want that. Like, sometimes they don't. Not hopefully not the vast majority, but I've been on a lot of phone calls with people where they're like, yeah, my husband doesn't support this, or they don't want me doing this, or whatever it may be. Like 95% of the time, it's 99% of the time, it's husbands or whoever, boyfriends or whatever, not wanting their significant other to level up or whatever in their, you know, health or their fitness journey or whatever it may be. And it sucks because they aren't willing to put down a boundary for themselves and respect themselves enough to be like, no, like screw you, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And so, it happens a lot. There's a lot of people, and maybe you've been there before in a past relationship, or maybe your relationship was like that at some point. You worked on it and you made it to where it's like, no, I'm a fucking priority, and I'm gonna do this thing whether hubby likes it or not. Like, that's one of those things. Or wifey, it's but I'm just saying, like, from my experience, it's usually guys being controlling, right? It happens. But guys, when you set those boundaries, like I said, like you're setting yourself up for success. You are. You're like, if they stick with you and they respect it, they're gonna be along for the ride. That's awesome. If not, they filtered themselves out. It's a harsh truth, but sometimes, like, that's what I'm here to tell you guys. So, but I created a hard boundary, right? I created a better, like what I ended up doing after that had happened, like, because yes, you set the boundary, but then you also need to, like, put things into practice, right? You actually have to do it. You have to actually enforce it. You have to actually do those things. So for me, in my situation, I created a better boundary, right? I created a better contract. I constantly am evolving this boundary. I'm updating it, regularly as things, happen, as things, come up and pop up. And you guys need to do that too. Like, always be adaptive, and setting that tone from the beginning, setting that tone from the beginning. And it's one of those things, like, if somebody is not willing to agree to your terms, whether that be like a physical contract or like a verbal contract or an emotional or mental contract with somebody, where it's like, okay, if I let you in my life in this way, like, you have, like, these are my ground rules or my boundaries. If they can't respect those and they break those time and time again, cut. You're done. You're out. Like, that's how you need to be about it. That's how I am. That's why I developed a physical contract to be like, okay, you're fucking gone. Like, sorry. And so it's one of those things. And if somebody isn't willing to sign up for that, that just tells me that they're not serious or this isn't a big enough priority to them, and I don't want to work with them anyways, right? So, um, so guys, what you need to do, you are taking this journey seriously, and it's one of those things where it's like, if you are taking this journey seriously, you don't want to waste your time on like, or waste your mental bandwidth, or waste that mental energy, or have the headache of going through these things over and over and over again. If you're tired of doing that, it's time to, like, set a boundary. Like, I want you, if you're watching this right now, to, like, commit to setting at least one boundary, like one firm boundary that you've been, like, waiting and laying, and like, and you've been kicking the can down the road to, like, set this boundary because you're like, "Ah, it's making me nervous, it's making me uncomfortable. I don't want to do it. I don't want to tell my mother-in-law or my spouse or my sister-in-law or my sister that I don't appreciate the way they've been treating me, and it's not going to go that way anymore. Like, I don't like the way they talk to me this way. I don't like this. I don't like how they're always trying to, like, dissuade me from my fitness journey or try to get me to not go to the gym or whatever. Like, I want you to set a firm boundary today. I want you to have a fucking takeaway from this and say, like, I'm gonna set at least one firm boundary, today or this week. Like, don't put it off anymore, because the longer you put it off, the longer you're gonna be fucking spinning your wheels. The longer you're gonna be stuck where you're at right now, because you're not telling people how to respect you the way you want to be respected. Um, yeah, and so it's one of those things. This is coming from a place of abundance, guys. This is coming from a place of abundance and not a place of scarcity. If you are able to do that, if you're able to come from a place of abundance, you will find yourself living the life that you always saw yourself living, that you want to live right now. So set that boundary with your friends. Set that boundary with your family. Set that boundary with your coworkers and your boss. And, most importantly, set that boundary with yourself, right? And hold that fucking line, because you guys deserve it. Cool. Other than that, guys, that's all I got for you. It's Thursday. It's check-in day. I'm going to get back to my client check-ins. Hope you guys got value from this. Let me know. Let me know. You don't have to say who you're setting the boundary with, but are you going to set a boundary this week? Are you going to set a boundary with somebody? or some bodies that need to have a boundary set with them because you feel like you're not being treated how you should be, or you feel like you're not being respected when it comes to your goals, your aspirations, your fitness journey, whatever it may be. Do it. Freaking do it. This is me giving you permission and validation that it's okay to fucking do it, right? Go set that boundary. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'll talk to you all later. Hashtag replay if you're still watching at a later time, guys. Bye.